So let me introduce to you all Cherie Clark. Cherie is currently working at the Willamette Educational Service District as a senior project manager, supporting 4 Oregon Department of Education projects: Oregon Employability Skills, Oregon Career Information Services, Open Sources, Comprehensive School Counseling modules, and the upcoming Career Connected Learning course for educators. Cherie has been instrumental in the conception, design, and implementation of Oregon Employability Skills. Her superpowers are strategizing and facilitating projects, and her favorite quote is, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken." So let's welcome Cherie to the room.
Thank you. I see some folks I haven't talked to in quite a while. I saw Vicki Van Loo on here, so I'm really excited to be among friends, even if I haven't been able to connect with you in a while, so that's exciting. So I'm going to walk you through today a little bit about Oregon Employability Skills. And I should go back to the beginning of the presentation here. Let me get my slide deck up and rolling. And move us over. So yeah, I've been working on 4 different projects. When I say working on the projects, it doesn't mean I'm doing all the work. So there are a lot of people out there that need a lot of kudos for the work that they're doing with the comprehensive school counseling modules. A lot of work happening with Beth Wiggum and Jean Aiken and their team. Oregon CIS is now, as many of you know, an open source product. You're not having to pay for it for your students, and also even their parents can get onto that product. So just doing a little bit of work with that, keeping that project going. The comprehensive school counseling modules is the other one, which is a place where we'll all be able to come together and see who else is out there doing this work and how they're doing the work. So I'm really excited about that. The biggest project I've been working on, and we did get some friends from ODE to actually advance this project. So that's the Oregon Employability Skills, and that's really connecting the talent pipeline to the workforce. And so it's really an exciting project. Many of you know that this project did start with industry partners telling us that students really weren't connecting with those skills within themselves. And so a group of us got together. Frosty Adams is on here today, and I want to thank her, as well as a few others of you that I see in here that have had some touch points to this project for sure. Because we started lifting it and leveraging it just organically as kind of, hey, we recognize this is true and we want to do something about this. So welcome in today. I'm going to be going over what Oregon Employability Skills is and what we have created. It's always evolving. And so I'll be giving you some updates today, getting you connected with the work. So again, started with education and industry. At our last Train the Trainer, we had 5 companies that came in and talked about why this was important to them. So it really is something that we are doing with industry. The strategy behind this was that we were hearing from industry that they'd like our students to really have some explicit instruction around employability skills. So they really understood what they were not, and how they worked in the world of work. One of our asks, though, was that we felt that a number of our students, especially in the high school age group, were being left out of the ability to successfully demonstrate these skills in the workplace. So it became important to us to get them to start working along with the Bureau of Labor and Industry and looking at how we could make some changes in that. So I want you to know, and when you think about Oregon Employability Skills, I want you to know that it's a full-on strategy to make this stuff more accessible for students, as well as a demonstration. So who are some of our key partners? Well, the Workforce and Talent Development Board came in and endorsed what we were doing in 2021. Some of their members offered some funds towards these goals. The Oregon Department of Education came in and said, hey, we really want to advance this into middle school. Now we're advancing it down to elementary. So by June, you'll see that you'll have an elementary version. We have a number of Oregon companies that you're going to see in the curriculum that are working. And then, of course, doing a lot of work just really out of Willamette Education Service District and with those partners that came in early to help us move the dial on this project. So if you're not familiar, what are the 10 skills that we are teaching in Oregon Employability Skills? They are self-awareness or a self-understanding, collaboration, how do I be a team player? What's the difference between just being part of a group and a team? Digital fluency, resiliency, analysis solution mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. I've met a lot of students that think that entrepreneurial mindset is just, I'm going to work for myself. And we really show them that it is a mindset that you can carry with you wherever you go. Adaptability, flexibility, communication, empathy, social diversity, awareness. So those are the skills that we're basing that on. Where did those come from? Well, they came from a $350 million investment by JP Morgan Chase to look throughout the country and see what the top 10 skills were that needed to be taught. And the funny story about that is that you can find data and information dating back to the 1930s and 40s that were even then suggesting that these were the skills that people needed to have. So Oregon Employability Skills, the curriculum, what is it? Well, we're going to have elementary curriculum in July of 2024. We have a middle school curriculum. I'm going to be taking you in and showing you some of that. And then we have our work readiness curriculum. That's really our 16 to 66 year age curriculum that really can be used for job seekers of any age, and also a refresher for any age. We will have an e-learning version up by the end of this school year so that people can access the curriculum online. That was an ask by our industry partners in particular so that they could use it for onboarding. I know for educators, sometimes it's nice because if someone misses a class, you'll have that opportunity to ask them to make that up by maybe going and using the e-learning version. So that will be there. When we talk about the curriculum being plug and play, we really, really did our best. We had a number of eyes on the curriculum from piloting groups that gave us feedback to the educators who came on board to help with this. And so we've created a lot of standards, outcomes. We've done a lot of crosswalking to CTE standards, social emotional learning standards. We've embedded some avatars in our middle school curriculum that makes it a little bit more fun, and it makes it a little bit, I don't know, just I call it like a little up to date, sort of, so to speak, because the students get to interact with the avatar, and the avatar plays an important role, I think. Not only from the teacher's perspective, they don't have to do all the talking, which is kind of nice because you can focus on your classroom when the avatar is speaking, but also the avatar answers questions. And sometimes our students are still trying to track with, well, do I know what my teacher is asking? And I don't really want to be the first one to step out and answer that question. And so the avatar can play that role, which is kind of neat. The other way that people can use the curriculum is to integrate it. So let's say that you're here today and you're thinking, well, I don't actually teach students, but I do interact with them. Or maybe you do teach students in maybe a CTE type course, and you've got some great activities that you've already been using, but you want to just integrate the curriculum maybe through some posters and things like that, where you're calling attention to the skills. So there's a lot of flexibility, and we give you, I mean, we recognize that people have been doing this work. We want to honor the work that's gone before us, and we just really want to fill in the gaps where you might need a resource. So we built in a lot of teaching aids. In the first part of the, at least the work readiness curriculum, there is a skills connection, really gives them the traits, some definitions. The I can statements are there if you need them. If you don't need them, you can easily delete them. Relevant terms, and then there's a short pre-assessment there. The trait has, every slide that has a trait on it has this little symbol here that kind of makes it look like something's going into your mind. We have some places where you're going out to some video and activities. And so we've got a little symbol there as well. We have career connected learning. This is the symbol that's on the toolbox. Tell your story. One of the hallmarks of this program is that students can find this skill within themselves and be able to tell the story of how they've used and has exemplified that skill. And then, of course, the integrated learning that I just talked about with the online version. One of the things that we've done that we really love is in the work readiness curriculum, at any rate, we've got a video. It's a business partner. So we have 40 business partners in the curriculum And they give us a video, usually about 2 minutes in length, that really brings kids into their workspace, helps people and students to see inside the door of that company. And then we do an activity with the students, and I'll be showing you some of those. And really the idea then is once they've watched the video, they've had an activity, that they should be able to tell their story and make that personal connection and the ability to tell that story through that interviewing practice. We've also created a lot of posters, the Career Connected Learning Toolbox, which helps students to think about job searches, interviewing, resumes, cover letters, and things like that integrated right into the curriculum. And then we have a lot of engaging projects and student learner experience points throughout the curriculum. Oregon Employability Skills is really social emotional learning for big kids. So how do we take those conversations that we've been having and move those conversations forward? We are coming up with a new learner badge that is a self-graded badge that students can go on and get at the 3 levels, so elementary, middle, and there will be a high school one. We've been asked for it, but none of those replace this one over here with this shiny young man right here that has an academic one. That academic one does have to be graded by an instructor. So it's a little higher level, and it's really what industry is looking for. Students who do go out and work in the workforce can get an industry badge by demonstrating those skills in the workplace. So our badges, you can go in and you can assign badges. I would say that it's something that you want to connect with us on if you want to give badges, because we do have a little small training that we go over on badging. But then a student can put it on their resume. This is a student, it's very cute. This student put this on their resume. This student obviously has a lot going on in their lives, but added this badge here using a QR code, because even though the badge is portable, it's done through Badger, and it can go like on a LinkedIn account and things like that. You know that when something becomes 2 dimensions, paper and ink, basically, they need a way to show. So they can get a certificate, they can get a QR code, or they can move the badge right into something like LinkedIn, and we'll give you the information on how to do that. This is our industry badge that I just mentioned, and this is a document that industry partners created because they said the way that they like to look at this is, does a student have some exposure to this? Can they utilize this skill with supervised practice, or are they independently demonstrating it through a variety of different circumstances and roles within their job? And so that is an industry created feedback loop. So I'm going to take you into the website. So hold one moment while I just get myself over there. So it is OregonEmployabilitySkills.org. And this website is here. It is a baby website, so I'm going to tell you that we are making corrections and finding things that don't work as well as we'd like to, and then making some changes almost on a daily basis right now. So there's going to be greater stability probably in the next 30 days. And I'll even identify a couple of things that we're doing. This is the educator space right here. And I want to take you into the middle school curriculum first. And one of the things when we go into the middle school curriculum, one of the things that we're working on is that you do have to scroll down to see to really click where you want to click. So we're going to be working on that, tightening that up so people won't have to do any of that scrolling. But when you do hit that curriculum, you do actually get everything in one, like it doesn't matter where you clicked in there, you're going to get everything there. So you're going to have a nice overview. And this overview, one of the fun things about it is that we've left we have an avatar that again is throughout the curriculum, but we've left the avatar information up at the top because a teacher can go through this in about 5 minutes or less.
Hi, I'm
and
Abby.
really get an idea
Welcome
of what's
to the
going
Oregon
on.
Employability skills. I'm going to learn about problem solving and how.
So that's an introduction to one of our avatars, really kind of fun. The curriculum is in the PowerPoint presentation here. You have everything you need in this PowerPoint presentation. If there's handouts, There are links directly to the handout, so you as a teacher would be able to pull that handout up and show it to students as you're working them through the handout. So we've tried to do all those kinds of extra items. And then if you find something in there that you would like done that would be helpful to you as a teacher, we are still open to hearing your voice about that. And it's a very good chance that we'd be able to do that for you. Each lesson, there are 5 lessons. There's 4, what it says lessons here, but then there's an assessment, which is your 5th lesson and kind of your wrap up. So this is designed to be taught in about 30 minutes, and it's to be designed to go over about, a 5-day period. That could be 5 days in a row or once a week, however you wanted to do that. When it comes to translations, we have really gone pretty robust there. We have full Russian and full Spanish curriculum. And then we have a translation packet, and that is in Arabic, Japanese, Chinese. What is missing in here right now is Vietnamese. And I think the Ukraine one may be missing as well. And that's because we are currently getting those pretty much every day. They're coming in. So as soon as we get them, we're putting them on the curriculum. So that's what you have in terms of middle school. One thing we were just asked for the other day, this is an example of folks in real time asking us to do things. They asked if we could put the assessment into a Google form, and we said yes. So within about 2 weeks, we will have that in a Google form. So that's what I mean where I talk about, hey, let us know if you're in the curriculum and you see something that could be helpful or useful to you. Please let us know, and we'll be happy to look at that and see if that is something that we can make happen for you. So now I'm going to work readiness curriculum. There are only 5 on here right now. The other 5 will be coming probably in the next 30 to 40 days. And you'll see them appearing, maybe one next week and then the next week. And what we're waiting on right now really is our industry partners. It took them a while. They've always been supportive and helpful, but it took them a while to understand how they could really be embedded in the curriculum. And now that they understand, they're like, oh, whoa, I want to be involved. So we have a number of great partners coming online right now. And I think probably by the middle of April, we'll be able to show how about 50 industry partners actually are live in this curriculum. So again, there's the skills connection that's up here, the 4 core traits. Then we've got a little what we call guide and define. These are always the I can statements. So if you need them, you have them. Again, if you don't, you can certainly hide those or get rid of them because you can copy the curriculum, right, and do with it what you want. You've got relevant terms here. There's a quick pre-assessment. The pre-assessment is really great because it's just a little 5-minute pre-assessment that sometimes helps students to understand, oh, I may be strong here, but I may need a little bit of support and help here. So it helps them to come into the curriculum from that perspective. Here's trait 1, listening to different perspectives. Essential question, a little bit of training and teaching and 3 slides. And then we come to a video by one of our industry partners. I'm going to play just a little bit of this video.
A very diverse team of people here, engineers with electrical experience, hydraulics experience. We design our own control systems and manifolds. My name is Trevor Scheck. I'm a mechanical engineer here at GK Machine. We've worked on projects for the Navy, for marine industries, for train and locomotive applications, clients that are small, large.
So you can probably see there that if you were to watch the full 2-minute video, which is still not very long, Trevor really brings you into his work. He really brings you into what he's doing. In the background, you see people doing work. So it's in essence like the kids just walk through the door of this company. One of the things that Trevor lands on is he says, we get phone calls where people are asking us to create a piece of machinery. And I'm having to listen on the phone and I'm having to fill out a form. So we literally have our kids listen to the phone call, fill out the form, and then we take the kids into, they can do this in groups or as individuals, but thinking about what are the next 3 questions? What are things that you didn't have anything to put in your scope of work? What are things that you still need to know? So in about 15 minutes, our students learn that I probably need to write legibly. I need to be able to listen and write down information. And I need to be thinking ahead as well. Once I've gathered the information, then I need to be able to stop, pause, and think about how am I going to move this forward? How am I going to analyze this and move this project forward? Then there's a little summary here. We have our job seekers toolbox. And again, because people have shared things with us, we are going to change the name of this to Career Connected Learning Job Seekers Toolbox. So you'll see that coming shortly. Doesn't really change what's happening there, but it just makes that connection. The resume checkpoint and then preparing and practicing for interviews. I did recently get some user guides from Oregon CIS that I'm going to be putting into here. Our team decided that it would be really helpful for people to be able, I mean, a student can go in here and go, I need to work on my resume. They're going to have that guidance right there in front of them. So the teacher doesn't have to go, well, I'll show you that later, or they're going to be able to pull up that guidance. Remember, it'll be online as well. So we want people in real time to be able to move forward when they see something that they might need to do. Certainly CIS isn't the only way to do that, but we wanted to make sure that we were using a free and open access product so that anyone online could get into there. Tell your story, again, is really that interviewing, considering how different points of view improve your chances of finding the best solution. As our students just discussed openly with others in their class, what the next questions would be, I think it'll be really self-evident how important it is to have a team of people giving feedback. Go into trait number 2, seeing the big picture, again, a little bit of guide and define from the teacher, but going into a Ferris engineered hardwood video where they talk about a solution that they came up with so that they are using every piece of wood, they're not throwing anything away, basically. So after our students hear about their challenge, their solution, and their impact, we walk students through the idea of what could you do with a challenge that you might see in your community. They're introduced to the idea of identify, evaluate, forecast, and then analyze. Well, the analyze part really helps them to think about, did you like doing that? Is that something that you found kind of thrilling because you like analyzing things? And how does listening to others' ideas to reach those solutions help you to contribute to community, classroom, or as a future employee? So you can see that's going to lead them right into telling their story. We have included about 10 to 15 different career journey videos also that are super relevant. We do have their Q&A down here, their company profile, and we'll be adding in that CIS information in there as well. Summary, job seekers toolbox again, tell your story. Going to show you one more real quickly. I'll just start jumping through these, but Oaks Amusement Park, every day they look at their equipment 3 times, 3 different inspections every single morning. So what did we do? We gave them an actual inspection sheet from the state. And we are introducing our students through that form to the idea of priority codes and the ability to think about whether something is urgent or it's a restriction or a concern. We give them some data and we have them think about which things go into each category. This particular curriculum ends up with ATI down here, which is another really great company. Where did I lose there? Here's their video, proven to perform, a great video. Then they go into looking at analyzing for risk. And that's a company that needs to analyze for risk. And so we've got some activities for students to really do that analyzing for risk. So you can see that they're really jumping into activities that are connected to the workplace in there. We have the pre-assessment in here. We also have an overview here over on my right. We have some posters that can be put in the classroom, including we're starting to create out these industry posters so that those industry posters can go on a wall if you'd like to. And this is an unfinished product right here. This was Cherie's attempt to follow a YouTube demonstration on how to create a workbook. So once I got it figured out, and moving along, I was able to get funding from ODE for someone in our comms department that knows what they're doing to actually create a really nice notebook for us. But I left it in there because it's a great example of what can happen for students. So when you first go into the PowerPoint presentation, students can click on the notebook. Of course, it's going to create their own notebook, right? But this is where they can keep that information. It also allows them to go back and look at videos of companies. So if they were interested in a company, they don't have to come to you and say, oh, what was that company? Can you send me that link? They're going to have access to that right in the notebook. I'll go back over there. They're going to be able to keep their information in here. They're going to be able to keep their tell the story in here. So if you choose as an instructor to have writing in the notebook, they can do that. We include branding, logo, and headers and things like that in here because we know that you may have something that you want to create for your classroom, as well as we have the different things that go with each trait. So all of these handouts are here as well. So they're in multiple places. We have a place on here in the About section where we have some talking points. These are still under review and some editing, but one of the things that a lot of folks will ask me is, I need to tell my CTE coordinator about this. What can I say? What would they see as a benefit? So we've created these talking points. We also allow you to copy this and keep what you want and throw away what you don't want. So if you wanted to talk to some of your industry partners and you wanted to look at what you might start with in terms of talking to your industry partners, we've given you just a little bit of help and support there with how you might do that. Our industry link in here is not very populated yet, but I think we are probably, I'm going to say, maybe about 10 days to 2 weeks out on that. We had our industry partners who are board chairs doing some video content the other day, and we've got some brochures and things like that that are coming pretty quickly. Our families and caregivers section is it's started, but we're going to be adding those translations in there so that families and caregivers can see some of the material in their own language. If it happens to be one of, I think we're going to have like 8 languages in there. So we're doing our best. So they can see the 10 traits. They can also go in, or 10 skills, sorry. And then they can also go in and look at the core traits right here. They can pull up a document that gives them those. We do ask them to think about sharing either task at home or task at work, how they are using the employability skills themselves and helping their students really tell the story at home as well. We do give them some career resources. We know that some of them may be looking at a job change, so they can go to Oregon Career Information System, or they can go onto the CCL website to the Families and Caregivers page as well. So we've tried to create a lot of well-rounded links to things so that people can continue on their journey should they want to do more work with that. So that is the curriculum and what's in there. And I'm going to stop share for just a moment so that I can go back into our presentation. And I've showed you so many things that my presentation's not even showing anymore. So give me a second to go back to that. And I'll go back there and show you just a couple more things. All right, here we are, returning back to our presentation. Okay. So I've shown you the website now, and we've gone all the way through the stuff that's in analysis, solution mindset. I want to think about implementation for a minute. How is this being implemented and who's using it? We have a lot of folks in K-12 using it also in CTE and core classes, vocational rehab, correctional facilities, and youth transition specialists. We also have a number of community-based organizations that are using the curriculum. Recently, I spoke at the OSU Outdoor School. They want to focus on communication and collaboration, both for their leaders and for the students that are out and about during that fun-filled week. I think it's a great project where they'll be actually talking about communication and collaboration. There are after-school programs. There are a lot of grant-funded programs out there helping folks connect with jobs, and a lot of them are using it. Some of our WorkSource partners and investment boards, as well as some employee onboarding. Oregon has a tremendous amount of small employers, and many of them have wanted to have something that they could take their employees to just help them shore up wherever they might need to shore up some of their learning. So that's one of the things that we did in creating this in a way that they could also do that. So I'd like to go back, I think, to Gordy and let him talk to you just about what's resonating for you. And I believe there were some questions in the chat, so I'm ready for those.
So sorry about that. Yeah, so if you have questions, please drop those in the chat. I would ask Cherie, what questions do you, what kind of questions do you usually receive about employability skills?
Well, a lot of times there's questions, but sometimes there's wonderings. And I would say if you have a wondering or a bright idea that came to your mind that you think the group could use, often questions are about implementation. How do I get more training? So I will throw out that March 13th in Salem, we do have a training. And if you want that information, I'll get it out to Gordy and Rochelle so they can send that out to you. Frosty's, I think, still on here. She might be able to pop that link into the chat potentially as well. And then we're going to be in Ontario, April 5th. We'll be at the YTP conference. So there's lots of places, but you can also go on to OregonEmployabilitySkills.org and ask for training for your region if you're interested in that. So that's one of the main things is how do I get more information and maybe go through a training where you have time to really think about how you might implement this and move this into your particular space. But the training is on the 13th. It's here in Salem. It's going to be held at the Northwest Natural Gas Building. It's over on Broadway. And I have to look real quick because I honestly can't remember what time we said that one was going to start. It is 8:30 to 2. So it's at the Northwest Gas Building, 3087 Broadway Street in Salem. We'll go over the strategy, deep dive into the website, and then you'll definitely have time to work on implementing and thinking how you would like to use the skill. So that's March 13th. And we can get that out to you so that you can get signed up for that. So I guess my question then, I have a question for you all is, how do you see yourselves maybe implementing this or using it? Are there ways that you've been doing this in the past where this might help you to just fill in some gaps?
So I work with transition.
There was a question. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so I work with transition with students. And so I think that this is a really beneficial opportunity for them, but also it gives me tools of kind of like how to kind of even start out like with kids and kind of like looking at some of it. Most of the kids I work with, I have 2 different positions. And so one is with students that have 504 IEP. And then there's also students that are McKinney-Vento homeless. So this is kind of like a really great foundation to kind of start because some of them just don't have some of those building blocks. And so I think this will be helpful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That is what we find. One of the things that I'd like to share real quickly is that we find that when you take the student through like the company video and the activity, that many of them are able to identify where they've used the skill before. And it is so exciting to see them like all of a sudden realize I do have that skill. One young lady said, "Oh, I know how to collaborate." She said, "We have 3 families living in one home. There are 10 teenagers, and we have one bathroom that we have to get dressed in and ready in the morning, and we have to collaborate." And she was so excited to realize that what seemed like a kind of a negative in her life, that was the way she had viewed it, had really taught her a skill that was going to help move her forward in her relationship as an employee. And so it was really neat to see her reframe that experience and make it really something positive. And that's what I love. And I think many of you that have used any of the skills so far are seeing that. It's really exciting to see them reframe that. And I imagine you're going to have a lot of students that will need a little bit of reframing of some of those experiences. And yeah, it's real exciting to see them be able to tell that story now.
Sure. Do you want to talk a little bit about the adaptability of the curriculum, how we purposely designed it so it can be used and changed and adapted to meet different needs for different audiences?
Yeah, that's that implementation part in the PowerPoint that I talked about, where let's say you're a CTE teacher and you're doing an activity, and maybe you don't need the company activity. You want to use, you're building a doghouse or something, and you want to talk about collaboration while you're building the doghouse or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you're baking cookies with your kids. How do you talk to them about communicating and collaborating and analyzing and doing those things in those activities that you're already doing and you're teaching? Or maybe again, you're just having a conversation with a student who's a job seeker, and you want to be able to have a conversation about communication and staying safe in the workplace and those kinds of things. So you really can adapt it. I have found a lot of work source agencies do a lot of work with different types of activities with students, and they can just embed it right into what you're already doing.
One of the things that I love about this curriculum, and that I, as you were going through it, Cherie, that I really appreciated is, sorry, I don't have my screen on, is the fact that this allows students to kind of think through a lot of these skills and traits that aren't easily talked about in student language. And they'll be able to then have examples. And I know that when we get into interview situations for jobs, a lot of times they ask questions and you need to have an example to connect. And this allows the student to be prepared for mock or for interviews, or if you're doing mock interviews in your classes or in your school, learning these things like put into action, and they're able to verbalize the traits that they need in the workplace, then that will transition then to interviews.
Yeah, they'll encounter 40 different times that they have to tell their story. I did think about something that I probably should have told you guys. The middle school curriculum just became available, so sometimes I forget about some of these little pieces that are kind of jewels and nuggets. But the really cool thing is that our pilot teachers said that students, see, we're teaching them that they actually do work. That when you tell mom, yeah, I'm going to make my bed, I'm going to help with dinner on Thursday, yeah, I'm going to go help grandpa with the mower on Saturday, that you contracted to work. And when you tell your teacher you're going to do your homework, you contracted to work. And we're teaching them that. But what's so cool is they love it. They're so excited to come into this space and think, oh, I'm already doing those things. And I've been around a lot of students, I call it getting the hand. It's like, I don't do that. I don't work, so don't talk to me about it. And it's like, no, you do work. And so now that they're recognizing that they work, there's that pride that comes with the fact that they're doing that. And the pride that comes with, oh my goodness, I do have these skills. And oh, so maybe I do want to talk about what's next. And so that's been one of the exciting pieces of the middle school curriculum. So I'm excited to see what happens with elementary when kids start getting introduced to these concepts, in first grade. It's going to be really exciting.
Cherie, did you say the high school wasn't live yet? Did I catch that?
High school is that, but we call it work readiness.
Okay.
Because in speaking with industry, we didn't really feel that like there's a difference between, it's when you're ready to work. So that's like 16 to 66, right? It's anywhere in there. So we didn't feel that we needed something specific for high school, that there was any value in that being different than somebody being introduced to this at 23 or 33. right? So the same curriculum is being used in folks that have been coming out of incarcerated situations, which we often refer to as second chancers. Because what it is, it's just reviewing as well as getting on the same page with some of that unified common language.
Thank you.
So work readiness. That's the one you want.
So any last minute questions? So I dropped Cherie's email in the chat. So if you'd like to connect with Cherie, that would be awesome. And again, you can reach out to her or our, the Aspire specialist for any questions you might have. And we thank you for being here today, and thank you especially to Cherie for sharing that information. And just an update, we have some upcoming webinars, including FAFSA Plus training, FAFSA ORSA updates, and then trade apprenticeships coming up here in the next couple months. So check out our webinars moving forward. We also will have a coordinator community where Aspire coordinators can gather, and we'll get you information about that in March, and in May will be those next meetings. So again, thanks to Cherie so much. Appreciate you sharing the information. Excited for the work that you're doing and the opportunity to support our students. So thank you again. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.